Welcome to FxStreet, currency in play. I am joined by, that's a very good question. Who am I joined by today? Ryan Littlestone, trader, forexflow.live. Morning to you, young Ryan.
Morning, Nick.
Let's have a look at the headlines this morning. Euro against the US dollar. Euro little change on the upside ahead of the Catalonian freedom decision. What are your thoughts on that?
More fun and games, isn't it?
Extraordinary.
It is very much, but I think the Euro's brushing it off, all this chat at the moment. These internal politics, they can have a big effect, when we see, things like we did last week with the police going steaming in, that tends to upset markets a bit.
Yep.
But now that side of it's calmed down, so it's a bit more internal, and we just have to see how it turns out.
Understood. In terms of Great British Pound against the US dollar, sterling knee jerks to 132 with manufacturing surprising on the upside.
Yeah, again, we've seen a test of 132, which is a pretty strong area from there, 132, 132.25. And we've had a test this morning. We got up to 130, 180 yesterday, if you remember. And I don't think it was a rally sell then, and we dropped all the way back to 30. We haven't dropped back as far yet. 130, 180, I think we're at just at the last look. So it's still hovering around that level, but there's very good resistance there.
Understood. So seller for choice at slightly higher levels. In terms of euro dollar, US dollar in corrective mood against the yen.
Yeah, more news from North Korea. We're seeing what's the latest headlines that they've got a 3,000 kilometre ballistic missile that's capable of reaching the US or whatever. So they're back in the driving seat again today, and we're seeing obviously gold again higher on the back of those headlines, and the yen's always going to be bought
safe.
On those. Yeah.
Understood. Okay, let's go through a few charts. Great British Pound against the US dollar. Again, a succession of higher highs and higher lows until this pullback where you would have thought it would have sort of, maybe the old resistance would turn into new support. It's failed there.
Yeah.
So is that now going to act as resistance, do you think?
Yeah, definitely. For me, that's the level to watch at the moment, as I just mentioned. 132 to 132.25. It was big on the way down, and it's going to be big on the way up. But we're not getting that far away from it, and that's one thing you've got to look at. The more tests you get on a level, the higher the chance that it's going to break. So
right.
Each time, if you want to sell into that level, then do so. But then make sure your stop's tighter and tighter each time, because as I say, the more times you test it, the more chance it's going to break.
There was a very good article in the FT a couple of weeks ago about fund managers saying it's just so difficult to trade this currency pair. And I reiterate that with guests. This is a difficult contract to trade at the moment, isn't it?
I haven't traded it a lot because there's so much in the mix. Brexit is a complete unknown. Is it going to be a hard exit? Is it going to be a soft exit? We've got nothing to compare it to. But you've got to take that, news that comes out that's good for the UK, getting a trade deal, that's going to be positive. So if you look at it from that point of view, you trade with the good headlines and you trade with the bad headlines. But as far as picking levels, where is it going to go? That's a folly at the moment. You just stick to what you hear, stick to what the headlines say, go with the data, and trade in between the ranges.
Sensible advice. Let's take a look at the Aussie. Aussie against the US dollar. Now, again, textbooks, people who aren't experts in technical analysis would see a double top, which is a bearish formation there. But you a seller for choice?
The trend's pretty obvious from there, but we're into a very, very big support area here that, again, was a former resistance area. The 77 to 77.60, 2 years we tried to crack that on the upside and failed. So it's a big, big level down here. And these are the sort of technical levels that you dream about. Nice and strong. I'm taking along here myself against this level. First in at 77.60, I'll buy it all the way down to 77. Big level, but we're not seeing the bounces come. We're again stuck in a pretty tight range. Test of 78 today failed, and but again we're sticking around the area. So the support is holding, and when you've got support on this scale, it's worth trading.
Okay, well, let's move on to dollar yen. Again, this looks tricky to me.
Yeah, not going anywhere. Last couple of days, we had a half holiday yesterday in Canada and the US, Columbus Day. And we've been pretty much going sideways in a 20 pip range. We've seen it towards the lower end on yen buying on a North Korea thing, but again, we're just sitting doing nothing. It's dollar seems to be in wait and see mode on the Fed and the data. We've got big data up on Friday, CPI and retail sales. So.
Right. Interesting that low, you had divergence on the momentum, which again is a good signal. But again, I'd be looking at that and thinking, do you know what, there must be better currency pairs to try and trade, because is that turning over, or is that a flag type formation? That could really break each way. or either way?
Yeah, I mean, with this pair, I tend to look at ranges. We often get a long period of consolidation.
Yep.
It's a very good range trading pair. You can see those big highs at the top and the lows there. You know, trading between those, you've got to have some patience, but you know, there's solid levels to trade against, and when we're consolidating, that's the way to play it. And then look for the ranges within the ranges. Pick your highs, pick your lows, and just trade in between.
Well, the Japanese would say there are times to buy, times to sell, and times to rest on your laurels.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's wrap up with a gold chart. You explained that basically coming back off a Chinese holiday, they tend to be buyers for gold, and it's worked.
Yeah, so far, again, I think North Korea's helped a little bit this morning, but we're well up so far this week, and seasonal trade at when China comes back, they tend to steam into gold, and that's having an effect now, and touch wood, we're doing all right in our longs.
In terms of upside target?
1300 is the big number there.
Psychological round number?
Psychological, it's also a big support level there, was a big support level, and it's obviously a resistance level previously. So again, that's the sort of levels you've got to look at, maybe to take some profit, lock some in, move your stop up a bit and see what happens.
Right. Moving averages work well on gold?
Yeah, quite well. Pretty much all the main tech works on, main tech works on every chart, but yeah, moving averages work pretty well, you know, the 200, the 100 moving average. So yeah, stick to your technical levels.
Okay, let's wrap up with the calendar. Anything to move the markets today?
Maybe the UK NISR GDP is not often a market mover, but there's a lot of noise surrounding what's happening with the economy, and of course whether the BOE are going to hike or not. So if we get a decent number out of that, even though it's a monthly rolling number, that could push them upside for the pound.
Right. Okay, finally, as I always ask you, what's your favourite trade at the moment?
Favourite trade, I'm going to love the gold trade at the moment. You know, it's easy to talk my book, and because I'm long from below, but it's working out so far, and it looks like a good seasonal pattern to look at each year.
Right, thank you very much indeed.
Cheers.